Coming up on KGN Caribbean News. And outrage in Trinidad after the One Caribbean Music Festival flops. Headliners vanish, chaos breaks out, and now a viral video has police under fire. A mystery boat carrying 11 bodies washes ashore in St. Vincent and Grenadines. Who were they, and what went wrong on this deadly journey across the Atlantic? Plus, Jamaica makes history with its biggest gun bust ever, over 230 illegal weapons seized. But what's more alarming is who authorities believe is behind it. Every island, every voice, every side of the story, KGN Caribbean News starts now. Welcome to KGN Caribbean News. I'm Karisha Graham. Here's what's making headlines in this week's Caribbean Crime Watch. A heartbreaking discovery in the Grenadines. Police are investigating after a boat carrying the bodies of 11 people washed ashore on Canoeing Island. The vessel, a wooden craft nearly 45 feet long, was found abandoned near Little Bay. Inside, officials uncover several decomposed bodies and passports that appear to be from Mali. Authorities believe the group may have been attempting a dangerous transatlantic journey, but exactly how or why they ended up in Vincentian waters remains a mystery. Forensic teams are now working to identify the victims as international partners join the investigation to uncover what went wrong on this deadly voyage. A massive gun bust is shaking Jamaica to its core. Authorities have seized more than 230 illegal firearms and over 50,000 rounds of ammunition, all hidden inside large water heaters at a Kingston warehouse. It's the biggest gun haul in the country's history, and investigators believe it was meant to fuel violence across the island. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says new scanning tech helped them catch it just in time, warning smugglers that Jamaica is tightening its borders.
To our Jamaicans overseas and those who are here collaborating in the importation of illegal weapons. We will find them and we will find you. And we are serious about this.
Security leaders say the people behind this shipment are even more dangerous than the gunmen pulling the triggers. A police officer in Antigua is recovering after being shot multiple times during an early morning encounter with armed suspects. Constable Trevor Giddens was responding to reports of gunmen near a bar in Potter's Village when he came under fire. Investigators say he was on the scene in a private capacity when the situation escalated. He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries but is now in stable condition. Authorities are actively searching for the individuals involved. Brooklyn became a place of both celebration and remembrance this Sunday as hundreds turned out to honor the life of 11-year-old Adriana Young. Her parents accepted a posthumous award led by House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries at the Guyana Independence Parade. Supporters lined the streets holding signs with Adriana's name, turning the parade into a public call for justice and reflection. The recognition comes just days after police in Guyana officially ruled Adriana's death a drowning. According to authorities, international pathologists found no signs of injury or trauma, and DNA results came back clean with no evidence of foul play or assault. But for many, especially those who marched beside her parents this weekend, the search for answer isn't over. Her story has become a symbol and demand for accountability. In Antigua, residents are sounding the alarm. Faulty traffic lights at some of the island's busiest intersections are creating chaos and serious safety concerns. From Fort Road to All Saints, signals are out of service, leaving drivers guessing and pedestrians at risk. One of the most troubling spots, right outside Golden Grove Primary, where students are forced to navigate traffic with no working crosswalk light. The issue isn't new, promises were made months ago to fix it, but with no clear action, frustration is growing. It's a scene that's raising big security concerns in broad daylight downtown Port of Spain. A man casually throwing black bags over the prison wall. Authorities believe the packages were filled with contraband, possibly phones or drugs. The suspect, a 26-year-old who is no stranger to this, he's already facing charges for doing the exact same thing. The video exploded online, prompting government leaders to take a hard look at the prison's future. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander now says it may be time to move the facility out of the capital. Police in the Southern Division cracked down on a crime over the weekend, seizing drugs, ammunition, and an illegal gun. The sweep led to multiple arrests, including suspects found with cannabis, cocaine, and unlicensed rounds in areas like Rio Claro, Princestown, and San Fernando. Later in the day, officers discovered a homemade shotgun and ammo at an abandoned camp in Princestown. And today's newscast is powered by Luxury Glam Onsley. So if you want your makeup, your hair, brows, or lashes on point, whether you're stepping out bold, bridal ready, or straight up boss babe vibes, Little One, the owner of Luxury Glam Onsley, got you covered. Trust me, this is where the glam magic happens. Hit up the number on your screen to book your glow up or catch all the inspo on Instagram on your screen. Let's check the political heartbeat of the Caribbean in this week's Politics Pulse. St. Kitts and Nevis is making big moves on the justice front. Lawmakers just passed a modern extradition bill updating an old system and bringing in line with international standards. The new law spells out how serious criminals like those accused of murder or drug trafficking can be extradited while still protecting their legal rights. At the same time, the Twin Island nation just wrapped up hosting the Global Sustainable Island Summit. Leaders from across the globe gathered to tackle issues like climate change, clean energy, and building greener economies. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew says St. Kitts and Nevis is ready to lead by example. Barbados is rolling out a major wage increase starting June 1st, giving thousands of workers a much needed boost. The government is raising the national minimum wage from $8.50 to $10.50 an hour, while security officers will now earn $11.43. It's a move aimed at easing the pressure from rising living costs, and it's not just full time workers who benefit. Interns and trainees will also see increases, though at a reduced rate. Government officials are warning employers not to cut hours or sidestep the law. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister is doubling down on her plan to introduce stand your ground laws despite growing public debate. Kamla Prasad Bisesa says the legislation will give law abiding citizens the right to defend themselves during home invasions, even with deadly force. She says it's a promise her government campaigned on and one they tend to deliver. A special committee is now reviewing similar laws from countries like the United States with plans to bring the bill to Parliament soon. Suriname's political scene is shifting after a tightly contested election. The opposition has edged ahead and is now working to form a coalition government. With no clear majority, this come down to behind the scenes negotiations, and if successful, the country could soon swear in its first female president. The stakes are high, especially as Suriname gears up for major offshore oil production. Whoever forms the next government will be managing one of the biggest economic transitions the country has ever seen. Tensions between Venezuela and Guyana just got worse. Venezuela government held regional elections in Essequibo, a massive resource-rich area that legally belongs to Guyana but is claimed by Caracas. Guyanese officials and international allies, including the United States, are calling the move illegal. Venezuela, meanwhile, is ignoring international warnings and pushing ahead, escalating territorial standoff that's now entangled in global oil politics. Politics isn't just for politicians, it affects everyone. Keep watching KGN Caribbean News for the latest events as it unfolds across the region. Health remains a priority as islands face unique challenges and celebrate progress. Tension is rising in Barbados as questions mount over a skin infection outbreak at the geriatric hospital. The opposition, DLP, is demanding answers, accusing the government of keeping the public in the dark. They want the full timeline, internal reports, and a breakdown of how staffing or supply issues may have contributed. Health officials say the situation is under control, but critics argue it never should have reached this point. Now there's growing pressure for an independent probe and for the ministry to come clean. Thick wave of Saharan desert is sweeping across parts of the Caribbean, bringing hazy skies and potential health risks along with it. From Jamaica to St. Vincent and even Puerto Rico, health officials are urging residents, especially those with asthma or other respiratory conditions, to stay indoors as much as possible. The dust carried by strong winds from the African desert can trigger coughing, shortness of breath, and eye irritation. In some islands, visibility has dropped noticeably, and doctors are advising people to keep medications close and avoid strenuous outdoor activity. Yellow fever is making a dangerous comeback across parts of Latin America, and now the Caribbean is being urged to stay on high alert. Health officials say the virus is showing up in areas where it hasn't been seen in years, and that shift is raising serious red flags. So far this year, the number of confirmed cases has spiked, and while efforts are underway to slow the spread, limited access to vaccines and lack of early detection are making that harder. Experts warn that if the virus reaches densely populated zones with low vaccination coverage, it could spark outbreaks on a much larger scale. Here's what's happening in the Caribbean economy with this week's Island Market Watch. St. Kitts and Nevis is going digital at the border. Officials have rolled out a brand new electronic travel authorization system for visitors who don't need a visa. It's called the ETA, and it's designed to make travel smoother while tightening security. Travelers must apply online before arriving with approvals linked directly to their passports. Locals, CARICOM nationals, and children under 2 are exempt, but for everyone else, it's now part of the process. And starting next week, passengers using the system will get a faster contactless entry experience at the main airport. The move sparks a major step toward modernizing how the Federation welcomes the world. The government of Barbados is rolling out two new bond options, hoping to raise $300 million and pull more Barbadians into the investment game. One is a first of its kind United States dollar bond offering 3% interest over 18 months. It's aimed at locals with foreign currency accounts and come as the country looks to tap into the billions held in offshore savings. The other, a new round of Boss Bonds 5-year savings instruments paying 4.5% annually. That option opens in June and starts at just 500 Barbados dollars. Officials say it's about giving citizens better ways to grow their money while helping the country manage its financial future. Port Royal could soon claim a new title, World Heritage Site. Jamaica's cultural minister says a top UNESCO team is back in the bid to inscribe the sunken city's archaeological landscape on the global list this July. Once known as the wickedest city on earth, Port Royal was a bustling 17th century port until a powerful earthquake swallowed most of it in 1692. Now, what's left beneath the sea is a rare time capsule of Caribbean colonial life. If approved, it'll be Jamaica's second World Heritage Site, opening the door for more tourism, more research, and more global recognition. The days of locals being locked out of their own beaches could soon be over. The Jamaican government is now requiring all new hotels to include public beach access in their plans. It's a move at protecting what many say should have never been off limits, coastline Jamaicans have used for decades. One pilot walkway is already in place in Trelawney, giving residents a clear path between two resorts. Leaders say it's about fairness, welcoming tourism without pushing citizens to the sidelines. The final policy is still under review, but the message is clear. The beach belongs to everyone, Jamaicans. The University of the West Indies is stepping up its game, launching a global push to bring more international students to its Mona campus. School leaders are targeting the Jamaican diaspora, African nations, and even students reconsidering the United States due to stricter immigration rules. Recruiters will soon be hitting major cities like New York City and Philly, while teams overseas promote UWI as a top tier, culturally rich, and affordable option. The goal is to welcome at least 1,000 new international students by 2027, boosting both diversity and dollars. This segment of KGN Caribbean News is sponsored by Belam Natural Skincare, a real Jamaican brand born from the founder's own skin struggles. If you're tired of dark spots, dry patches, or uneven skin tone, these handmade soaps could be your new best friend. They've got some killer combos like kojic acid with vitamin C, turmeric and sea moss, honey, and oats, all natural, all effective. Plus, they ship all across Jamaica. And here's the catch, they also ship internationally. So, no matter where you are, you can get in on the glow. Order through the Instagram on your screen or WhatsApp the phone number, which is on your screen as well. Your skin, I go thank you. Take care of your skin, people. Welcome to the KGN Sports Zone where island athletes shine. All eyes turn to Stockholm on June 15th as four of the fastest women in the world line up for a blockbuster 100-meter hurdles clash. Jamaica's Akira Nugent and Bahamian powerhouse Devin Charlton are set to ignite the track in what's shaping up to be a Diamond League highlight. Nugent brings the fire with her national record form while Carlton's been nearly unstoppable this season. The countdown is on and the hurdles are ready. Haley Matthews is making waves again, this time climbing to the number two spot in the world for T20 batting. The West Indies campaign the West Indies captain was unstoppable against England, piling up runs across the three-match series and sealing her place among the game's elite. Her standout moment, a commanding century in the opener that set the tone for the series and earned her Player of the Series honors. With this latest performance, Matthew has tied her career best ranking and is inching closer to the top spot. As the team heads into the ODI leg of the tour, all eyes will be on the windy skipper to keep the fire going. The Reggae Boys pushed all the way, but it wasn't enough to stop Nigeria from taking home Unity Cup glory in London. After a back and forth battle that ended 2-2 in regular time, It all came down to penalties, and Nigeria kept their cool. Jamaica equalized twice in regulation with strong finishes from Kaheem Dixon and John Russell. But when it mattered the most, a missed penalty from Dwayne Atkinson tipped the balance. With five flawless shots, the Super Eagles secured a 5-4 win from the spot on their third Unity Cup title. Something new is stirring on Jamaica's water, and it's fast, fierce, and full of rhythm. Dragon boat racing has officially launched on the island, making waves at its first festival in Port Royal. Teams from across the country took to the water, paddling in sync and competing in tight 200-meter races. But it wasn't just about the sport, it was a full cultural celebration. With strong support from national partners, Jamaica may have just found its newest sporting obsession. 17-year-old Christian Belisay is one step closer to her dreams. Thanks to an outpouring of support from people across Trinidad and Tobago, the St. Joseph Covenant student is preparing to attend the Yale Young Global Scholars Program, an elite summer session bringing together top teens from around the world. She'll be exploring global issues through the lens of politics and economics, sharpening the skills she hopes to use one day as a UN ambassador. After earning a spot in the program, Krishan and her family face a tough hurdle covering the travel and additional costs. But when they turned to the public for help, the community showed up in full force, donating more than what was needed. In our entertainment section, whew, young Jamaican change makers got their moment in the spotlight at this year's Prime Minister's National Youth Awards for Excellence. The ceremony held Saturday at Jamaica House honored outstanding youth between 15 and 29 who are making waves in their communities and beyond. Among the big winners, digital star Evie Royal, recognized for transforming Caribbean comedy through social media. The Foster triplets, known for their powerful gospel harmonies, also walked away with top honors in music. And young journalist Maisha Brody was celebrated for her growing influence in digital media. This year's awards introduced the new categories to highlight youth with special abilities and those excelling in technical and vocational fields. With more than 80 finalists across 15 sectors, the event proved one thing: Jamaica's future is in passionate and capable hands. It's official, Vybz Kartel is being crowned the king of dancehall. Reggae Sumfest made the big reveal during their launch, with plans to honor Kartel on Festival Night 1, July 18th in Montego Bay. The moment marks a major comeback for the artist who was freed last year after spending more than a decade behind bars. Since then, he's dropped new music, launched a tour, and now he's getting the royal treatment on one of dance's biggest stage. Now, the topic of the town. It was supposed to be one of the biggest nights in Trinidad, but the One Caribbean Music Festival is now facing backlash after several headline acts didn't show up. Just hours before showtime, fans learned Vybz Kartel wouldn't be performing. And they weren't the only ones missing. Sizzla, Molly, and Molly Don also dropped out. The show set to begin at 9 didn't start until 9:30. Frustrated concert goers are demanding refunds, but because the event wasn't cancelled, organizers say no money will be returned.
Alright, hi, good night everyone. We are at the One Caribbean Festival show. Unfortunately, Vybz Kartel is not here. How do you feel about this whole situation?
Disappointed. Disappointed because people pay so much money to come and see Vybz Kartel for easy paying and stuff. And when they have us outside here, they come in and tell me nothing there, saying that you don't know if they have a concert again, if they don't have a show again. People just stand up outside here, they don't know what to do.
And how you feel about the other artists pulling up?
And the the other artists, and when they get a hear Vybz now, they just coming up, they're just pulling out one by one. Next minute, they're going to make it a local, and a lot of people, it's unfair because a lot of people pay to come and see both foreign and local. And it's not fair that people pay so much money, take the time, take the whatever to come in, make their way, and next minute, you know, this concert was to come on since Carnival time.
Yeah.
And next minute they put up, and then today you realize, you know, they have it, and it's the same thing, it's more worse now more than the last time.
Yeah.
So I think that's very ridiculous with the promoter and all of that.
Thank you.
Vybz Kartel later posted a statement blaming the promoters, saying they failed to meet key contract terms. Promoters in turn claimed they paid over $1 million but were blocked by financial restrictions. And they also said that all payments were made.
Promoter for the Trinidad show. Remember, years me know you. Remember when you forward initially for the show. My lawyer was there. My manager was there. Remember the signing was recorded. Remember the money where you're talking about, the legal team, out of my money it forward. Because remember your ball, and I say, TJ, me know him long time, give him a blind. TJ reluctantly give a blind. You miss deadline after deadline. Me beg for you, Mr. TJ, give my blind. You bring me now in a loggerheads with the government of Trinidad. Me never tell you someone do no school. My job is to perform for the people. Me's an entertainer. Me get paid to entertain. Remember, you know, you wanted to keep the show during Carnival. Me look for you, me say you can't do that. Don't mess with the culture. Carnival, Trinidad thing, make them do them thing. TJ tell if you don't do it. Angostura tell if you don't do it. Cartel tell if you don't do it. Countless people tell if you don't do it. You force the issue till eventually you see say it can't work. So now you did want to bring me at loggerheads with the culture of Trinidad.
And just when the night couldn't get any worse, viral video shows two officers beating a man at the venue after the show. Former Commissioner Gary Griffith weighed in and calling the officers' actions untrained and angry, adding, quote, "This looked more like two drunk men fighting in a bar than professional policing," end quote. A powerful tribute to two fallen artists is now making a difference across the globe. The Extation Foundation and Juice WRLD's Live Free Foundation have joined forces on a new capsule collection designed not to just honor their legacies but to uplift youth in Jamaica and beyond. The idea was born on a soccer field in Jamaica where a group of young players were surprised with gear inspired by the late stars. That emotional day captured in the War music video turned local dreamers into center stage stars. Now, those same jerseys have been redesigned and made available to the public. Proceeds from each sale go directly toward youth focused projects in Jamaica, Uganda, and other communities, bringing opportunity and hope in the names of X and Jews. This is more than merchandise, it's a movement built on legacy, love, and the power of giving back. Alkaline's getting honored in true Jamaican style with his own rum. Rum Bar Rum is dropping a special edition bottle as tribute to the Vendetta boss ahead of the New Rules concert. The bottle designed with Alkaline in mind is part of a collaboration with New Era Productions and hits shelves this week. It's the first time Rum Bar is doing anything like this, blending culture, music, and vibes in one limited release. The launch event is set for June 4th, and fans will get a chance to grab the bottle and celebrate the man behind the movement just in time for the New Rules takeover at Trelawney Stadium this July. That's it for this week's edition of KGN Caribbean News. I'm Carisha Graham. See you next week right here where vibes meets truth and every island will eventually get the spotlight.